Detective Sarah Mills stood at the entrance of the old art museum, her eyes fixed on the empty display case. The famous Black Angel statue, worth millions of dollars, had vanished without a trace. The security cameras had caught nothing, and there were no signs of forced entry. It was as if the statue had grown wings and flown away. "Detective Mills, here's what we know," Officer Thompson said, handing her a notepad. The statue was last seen during the evening security check at 9 p.m. The guard discovered it missing during his morning rounds at 6 a.m. Sarah walked around the display case, her trained eyes scanning every detail. The glass was perfectly intact, and the alarm system showed no signs of tampering. This was not a typical robbery. "I want to speak with everyone who was in the building last night," she ordered, pulling out her own notebook. "And get me the security footage from the past 48 hours. Throughout the day, Sarah interviewed the museum staff one by one. The security guards, the cleaners, and even the curator, Mr. James Wilson, who had worked at the museum for 20 years. "The Black Angel is our most precious piece," Mr. Wilson explained, his hands shaking as he adjusted his glasses. "It was created by the famous sculptor Antonio Rossi in 1892. Legend says he made it after seeing a real angel in his dreams." Something about the curator's nervous behavior caught Sarah's attention. She made a note to look into his background later. The security footage revealed nothing unusual, except for one small detail that others had missed. At exactly 11:23 p.m., there was a 3-second glitch in the camera facing the statue. It was so brief that the security team had overlooked it. "Run a background check on everyone who has access to the security system," Sarah instructed Officer Thompson. "And get me the maintenance records for the past month." That evening, while reviewing the files in her office, Sarah discovered something interesting. The museum had recently upgraded its security system, and the work had been done by a company called Secure Tech Solutions. The owner of the company was Thomas Wilson, the curator's son. Sarah dug deeper. Bank records showed that Mr. Wilson had been making large payments to an offshore account for the past 6 months. He was also deeply in debt. The next morning, Sarah returned to the museum and headed straight to Mr. Wilson's office. She found him organizing papers, looking more nervous than ever. "Mr. Wilson, can you explain these payments to an account in the Cayman Islands?" Sarah asked, showing him the bank statements. The curator's face turned pale. I don't know what you're talking about. And perhaps you can explain why your son's company installed the new security system just 2 weeks before the theft?" Sarah continued. "The same system that had a convenient glitch during the exact time the statue disappeared?" Mr. Wilson slumped in his chair, his fade crumbling. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," he whispered. "The debts. They were threatening to take everything. Thomas said he knew people who could help. They would take the statue, make it disappear, and we would get a percentage of the insurance money." "Where is the Black Angel now?" Sarah demanded. "In a storage unit at the harbor. Unit 247. They were supposed to pick it up tonight." Mr. Wilson buried his face in his hands. "I never should have agreed to this." Within an hour, Sarah and her team had secured the storage unit. Inside, wrapped carefully in moving blankets, was the Black Angel statue, completely undamaged. They also found detailed plans of the museum's security system and evidence linking the crime to a well-known art theft ring. Mr. Wilson and his son were arrested, along with 3 members of the theft ring. The Black Angel was returned to its rightful place in the museum, where additional security measures were installed. As Sarah completed her final report on the case, she couldn't help but smile at the irony. The Black Angel statue, created from a dream about a heavenly being, had nearly been stolen because of Mr. Wilson's nightmare of debt and desperation. Case made headlines across the city. Detective Mills solves mystery of the vanishing angel. But for Sarah, it was just another reminder that the most complex mysteries often have simple explanations: greed, desperation, and the mistaken belief that crime could solve one's problems. The Black Angel continued to stand in its display case, its mysterious smile seemingly holding more secrets than ever. And Detective Sarah Mills moved on to her next case, knowing that in her line of work, things were rarely as supernatural as they seemed. The real mysteries were always in the human heart, where angels and demons fought their eternal battle.